Is Apple stock a buy? Well, let's look at the positives and the negatives and tell you how you can make money potentially out of Apple stock. First of all, there of course are negatives, but then there's Warren Buffett, the most successful investor in the world, buying Apple stock and saying it's a unique company. Let's look at the facts. First of all, Apple of course has got many different products and is the leading brand in many different sectors. So is it a company that you should definitely have in your portfolio? Well, here's the facts. First of all, Apple, of course, is an incredible organization run by Tim Cook. It's been amazingly successful, but its valuation is $3 trillion. So if you think about the UK FTSE 100, that's worth $2 trillion. So Apple on its own is worth 50% more than the FTSE 100. Why do people value it so high? Well, Warren Buffett says it's just a cash king. In other words, it just generates cash just constantly. In fact, it's even gone into the banking sector, offering 4% interest in America, higher than any bank. And of course, if you think that it could enter any sector that it chooses to, of course, you'll see the potential for Apple stock. In fact, they're looking at AI and they're going to produce something and be a competitor to ChatGPT. Could they really take advantage of AI? Well, fairly obviously they could. They've got emerging markets with massive potential. India, for example, is spotted as being one where there's massive potential for Apple. Right now, its sales there are soaring, and of course you've got rising middle classes, which again adds to the potential for Apple, not only in India, which of course is an incredibly massive country, massive population, and yet Apple currently sells less phones there, 50% less than it does in China. So just think, if India really continues its growth, what then for Apple just in that market? And then, of course, we've already mentioned AI, but then we look at other things as 5G comes more effective around the world. Again, Apple will be the dominant player in that field. But then we also look at what Warren Buffett says. And he says that if I give you $1,000 for your Apple phone, and I take it off you, the only condition is you'll never use Apple again. Would you take the $1,000? Okay, he says if I give you $1,000 for your car, let's say it's a Ford, would you take the $1,000 on the basis you could never buy a Ford again? He says Apple is such a good brand that people will not take the $1,000. Is he right? Potentially he is. And if you think as an investor, he's made 20% per annum, as I mentioned earlier, you can see the potential for Apple. Of course, in stock, you always get volatility, but is it a long-term buy? For me, it's part of a well-managed portfolio for sure. So is it a buy? Yes, it's a buy. Is there volatility? Absolutely. There's going to be times in the market where there's a sell-off. And of course, those times when there is people talking negatively about various things, actually, in reality, present the best opportunities. Should you be buying Apple stock? Well, for me, it's a buy. But don't forget, you always need diversification. And always good to talk to a financial advisor. There's a link below where you can subscribe to our newsletter. We're sending out ideas on the best investments right now.